Alright, looks like we're here. Cool. Put you there. Get rid of you for a minute. Right. I'm back. And I'm back in Factorio. So, today, as my to-do list says, build first 1K train. And work out how to do it. So, just quickly, you can go away, player. Since last time, what have I done? Built a lot of solar panels. To be exact, this is about 750,000, and the ratio is about right. I think I need 640,000 accumulators to be a perfect ratio. But I'm kind of happy that solar panels outweigh the accumulators. One second, I'm going to check if it actually stopped raining. Yeah, it's definitely not stopped raining. Right. Back to what I was doing. Yeah. So as you can see, I did use my original. I then had to make a train full of items because the robots were just taking too long to move. So I ended up training them over and making this little satellite base where it then ran from, and it built a second bank here. Yeah, I may need to make more in the future. My original plan of, like, this section, I think it was originally. Yeah, that's fallen through. I may have gone a little over the top of that. Yeah, other than that, I successfully placed that signal wrong when I first made this, and it caused every single train in the entire network to back up, which was a little bit frustrating. But I did discover a significant issue with my original blueprint, which is any trains coming in and out here get blocked by each other. It's fine on the main line, but of course in two locations, namely here and here, I was never actually letting them go through the main line. Basically never. Which meant that the main line was the one getting blocked. Now, previously I had this thing fall, the power fall over. That was it. The nuclear power fell over. Nuclear power's gone, by the way. That was basically caused by the similar situation here, where these two got linked across this. But I suspect a secondary issue was they were linked here, so when the trains got stuck on this line, it blocked anything leaving. So it was kind of a compound issue here. But yeah, so you can kind of see what I've done, which is basically taken away the main line and then added in this really funky looking one just to separate the two lines out. Not very happy with it, but it works for now, so I'm just going to leave it. I made more labs, so I'm now running at, what am I running at? 844 a minute. I'm not going to go any higher than that, because what I discovered, if I claim all of those, I have a limit on the reds. Come here, reds, where are you? Yeah. So I can produce 9,750 a minute, and that system will consume 9,850 a minute. So hence I'm running it slightly under. Yeah, a little bit annoying. But as far as I can tell, that's the only bottleneck, and I can't speed up anymore. It's got tier 3 modules all throughout. It's producing at a bonkers rate. It's just, that's a limit. So, yeah, I messed up my math slightly when I was making all that. Oh well. Right. Anything else I did? I drained out the coal from this system because I didn't need it anymore. I wasn't... Basically, I just did it by running a bunch of the artillery shell ones. You can see I've got artillery range 4. Not that it actually matters, but yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I went around beaconing up everything and balancing everything back out again. So this thing is now producing what? 240... Yeah, 4,000 a second. It's pretty good numbers. I did discover one slightly terrifying thing, which is... If I select all of these, you will notice my water is at 13.24 thousand per second. And the pumps can only do 12,000 a second, so I'm actually technically overrunning this system. Now, I'm kind of lucking out on the fact that not everything runs constantly, so it doesn't ever really produce that issue. You can see even, like, running, I think it's probably plastic it's running. I mean, I'm throwing 9,000 a second of water down this system. So, yeah. Hence why I put in all of these pump lines rather than using traditional lines, because you need it. This thing will... Yeah. You could not run these systems off of normal lines. 5,000 water a second. Yeah. I think that's the big killer. I did consider... Since I've got a second in-feed of just putting pumps all the way down here and feeding them in somewhere. Couldn't be bothered in the end, if I'm perfectly honest. Like, running these three is technically fine. It's actually these water ones that overload it. So, I'm kind of fine with that. I think I rearranged all of the conveyors around here because I got fed up with them. And hence why you've got the massive steel barrel. Sorry. Is it steel? Are they called steel barrels? Empty barrels, isn't it? Empty barrel production over here. Did I do that last time? It's been a while now. I can't remember. What else did I do? I think that was just about it. Yeah. Pretty sure that's literally everything. The death train exists. And I think I made this personal train because I got fed up of having to run out all the way over here. Yeah. So that's that. This map was 6,000 by 6,000 in the end, if memory serves. Yeah, 6,000 in each direction. And if I quickly pull out my screenshot I did at the start. Put it next to the map. Right. So, I built this here. So this lake is the one you can see. And then you can just about see the edge of here. So the train from here ends up here if you stretch it all out at 1,000 long. So I can't, well, I can fit it on quite easily, but yeah, they're big. Yeah. So, first job of today is I'm going to build the 1K train, because I need to do some things about working out how to, I need it to help me work out what the hell I'm going to do next. Right, so, I'm going to stand here in the middle. I'm going to grab my 1K train, and I am going to plonk it down. If I can remember exactly where I sit it. There. Now, the robots aren't going to be able to whoosh over and build all this, because there's actually too many blocks here to do that. This may take a few seconds, but the moment has happened. The 1K train is finally getting built. Whoosh. I said they wouldn't be able to whoosh. Apparently they can whoosh. At least for three quarters of it. I'm going to have to wait for it to actually complete, because it doesn't always link all the carriages up. It's apparently a bit too long. So I need to double check it actually links everything up. Unfortunately, we're currently waiting for the roboports to finish charging all the robots, so yeah. This will take a second. Alright, there we go. That's all of them built. So, that looks to me like every single one is linked. Yep, front to end is linked. Awesome. Right. So, it's built. It's built, it's built, it's built, it's built. Huge. Right, so I got a little funky setup here with 2 stations. Basically the point of this is when you move off, it'll consume one of these nuclear fuel. So if you just move off that little tiny bit, it stops and it reloads the fuel. So now you've got effectively 4 nuclear fuel. Yeah, that's basically the whole point of that. Right. The next thing I need to do is I need to work out. So, this train is built up in 5 segments. So each one is 5 trains, 200 carriages. Back, get through. Which roll around and around and around until you eventually find the next train. Which I don't even know which one it is. I think it's probably down here. So let's run it around. Back. Move. Let's do this in thingy mode rather than doing it like that. Alright. This one. Roundy. This one, I think. So I think it is that train. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Then it gets 5 more trains, 200 more carriages, and it rinse and repeats that until you get to the final end where it just has 5 more trains. Now that makes 5 banks of 200 trains. 200 carriages. So my plan for this is effectively use them in those banks of 200. So I'll go through that a little bit more in a minute. But the first thing I need to know is how long it takes to start the train, drive itself a full 200 banks, and stop. To that end, I put a little timer on screen, which hopefully appears as he goes and quickly checks. Yes, it has. Cool. So, I'm going to use that basically to time it. So, first things first, I need to measure out 200 spaces, and unsurprisingly, the visualizer doesn't go to 200. So, I have to do this the old-fashioned way. Basically, I just need to put down a huge piece of track. Oops. Right. I then need to space. Bah. Can never remember how this works. Stopped at that station? Question mark? Why are you not actually stopped there? Stopped at that one. You are stopped at that one, that's why. Fair enough. So, the next one, therefore, goes there, I think. That is 10. I think. Hang on. Right, so in theory, if I then place a station there, and a station there. Nah, I don't think that works. I always hate doing these, because I can never get it right. Right, goes there. That is 10. Right. Okay. Okay. So my plan then is just to copy and paste this. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So that's 50 cars. Let me take away those. Actually, hang on, think about that. I actually want to go one further, don't I? Because I don't want to include the original stop. Come on, don't worry about catch up. Right. And I want to copy all of those. Hopefully I can see the end one. Plonk you down. So that should be 100. Once I get to the end of it. I'm just hoping I don't run into water as I do this. No, robots are gone, so. So that should therefore be 150, theoretically. And that should make 200. I hope. Nope, I haven't got my logistics on. Let's do that so I can get rid of all this stuff. Right. And I hope that is 200 long. Which is crazy considering that's actually like only a fifth of the train. Oh, I always do my head in doing these. Right. I do love the funky patterns you get out of robots. Right. I'm going to run a return line because I don't actually want this piece of track. I'm just using it for using it to work stuff out. Right, take my wood off me. Actually, let's go a little further in. Right. Now I just need to go back and build that line. While the robots take all my wood off me and go and burn it. Yeah, to be fair, most of my water's actually barreled water's going here. These things have done what? 2 million barrels by now? Yeah. I gathered a lot of wood doing this, like probably 400,000, something like that. Come on, robots. I also need to take out my train stops because I don't make sure I actually get the right train stop. Almost there. Come on, robots, just a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. There we go. Right. And I'm going to take out all the trees in the middle of this. Because who likes trees? Come on, robots. Yeah, I'll take those out on the way back. Why did I make a blueprint for that? Technically I didn't, I just repurposed it. If you haven't guessed, I put more... I rearranged this a bit and put a bunch more skeletons in it. Yeah. Hence why I'm running around significantly quicker than I was before. But I'm not really complaining, because I kind of need it for this map. And this style of playthrough. Alright. Stop. There we go. Right, so I'm all the way back and go and pick up this last train station. Then time back on. Hopefully, if I set this train running, passenger present on that. Passenger present. So I'm just doing that to make sure it stops and stays stopped. In theory, this thing should start going. Now, yes, I could have added more trains and make this thing go quicker, but honestly, I think it kind of suits it to go take forever to speed up. Let's face it, it's only what, 30? Okay, robots, go stand in somewhere more sensible for you. There we go. What? 30 trains to 1,000 cars? So it takes a little while to run. Right, so I haven't started the timer yet. I should probably explain this. Basically because I want to actually make sure that is the correct length. When it stops there, the next set of trains stops here. And we're getting close. And I went 10 too far. No, actually, I didn't go 10 too far, did I? Yeah, because I went one step further because I did 60, didn't I? That was a mistake. You finished picking up all my stuff yet, robots? Oh, God's sakes, it's going to load up bloody whatever. Don't care. It's going to end up with nuclear fuel and it's going to end up with nuclear fuel in it. It's fine. It's always fine. It is always, always, always fine. Alright, so let me plonk that down. So in theory, I actually need to go back that 10. And then that's the correct one to stop at. Right. Stop. I don't actually want to send you there. I want to send you to that thing. Right, so this is going to take quite a while to get back. I think it probably takes about 10 minutes. So, yeah, let the system reset itself. Because this will take a little while. Yeah, so, while that's doing, let's go on to what my actual plan is for doing this. Let's turn that down. Right. So, I made a little demonstration. So, my train is represented by this thing. So, in my actual one, there's 5 trains with 200 carriages, 5 trains, 200 carriages in this configuration. So, my plan is to as I said, use this as 5 blocks. So, the first set of blocks. Scratch that, I'm starting again. Right, let's start with this. So, I'm making 6 sciences. I'm making 6 sciences. Red, green, blue, purple, yellow, white. No need grey because I've got no military in this world, so there's no point making grey. So each one of these is going to get 2 1,000 long trains. One of the trains is going to be set up for carry the science files away to the labs, while the other train is set up to handle the materials of which to go into it. So I've done the logic for how I'm going to do this for these 3, and we'll have to work on these another day. So back to what I was just showing. Scroll. Right. So you need 4 raw materials to make red, green, and red science. Say 4. I'm saying 4. You need copper, iron, plastic, and sulfur. I'm treating plastic and sulfur as 2 separate materials. I know technically they're made from the same thing, which is petroleum, but ignoring that. Did I just hear it stopped? Well, that's not too bad. Okay, we'll come back to that in a minute. So I'm going to load the first 2, which is iron and copper, onto the first bank of carriages. In the plate form, not in the ore form. So the train, once it is ready, will then take off and jump to the second bunch. So then the second batch of carriages will get copper and iron in them. And the first batch of carriages will get copper and iron taken out of them, and these 4 materials made in it. Excuse the scuffness of the images, but it's the only way to make it work. So you've got gears, pipes, steel, and copper cable. So gears is used in multiple places. Steel and pipes are used for motors, which is used for blue, and copper cables are used for greens and reds, which are used for both things. So those will then go back onto the train. Now I haven't quite decided whether or not they go directly back onto the train, or into exactly the same place they've come from, or if they go into somewhere else. We're going to have to work that one out in a minute. So then moves up, and I unload some of the copper cables and some of the iron plates to make greens. Now I also, either at this step or this step, need to load in plastic or sulfur. Doesn't really matter, I've put it in this step just to even out what goes on at each step. Meanwhile, the second step is now doing its second set of processing, and the third batch of trains is being loaded with raw material. So, 4th step, similar kind of thing. Apart from this time, we're unloading greens, plastic, and more copper cables to make reds, and gears. Oh, I just realised I missed something on this. Oops. Oh well. Gears, steel, and pipes to make motors. We also need to make conveyors, which is iron and gears and iron plate, and yellow inserters, which are greens, iron plate, gears, which are all on the train. So that's completely fine. And the final step is it makes science. Using all those bits, it makes science. That science then gets unloaded onto my second train, and when that second train is full, it goes off and dumps it. Basically, the idea is to use the train as a bit of a rolling conveyor. So as you can see, when it's making its first batch of science, it's also loading into this. Now, the next step is, of course, it now needs to move forward another step so that the science can be made out of the second batch, which has just finished its last process, and so on and so forth. I haven't decided, but of course, I don't want to waste time, because ideally, this set should be here every 5th cycle. So that it's a continuing run. The problem is with that is it basically leaves you in a situation where you end up butting the two ends of the train, like the back and the front, up together, and I don't really like the idea of that. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get around that yet. But yeah, in theory, they should then move forward another set, and we should have another batch of these 4 set up. Right. Now, the reason I'm doing this test behind the scene of how long does it take to do 200 cars is I need to work out kind of how much time the train is traveling versus how much time is going to be sat processing materials. Because if it takes 40 seconds, to make the maths easy, to move from one step to the other, and then it spends 20 seconds stopped, it's only got 20 seconds to output all of the science for that entire minute. So if I'm trying to get to 5k a minute, that means that 20 seconds it actually has to output 15k a minute, so that the other 40 seconds it's moving, it's not running, it kind of balances itself out. Now the other thing about that is I've then got to make 15,000 science out of all the materials on the train. So there's a bit of a maths balance about to go on. You can see I've got an Excel book open to help me out with this, which will be... So this is going to be quite a maths heavy and logic heavy run. Are you telling me I'm new to my chat room? Whatever. Yeah. And then, of course, we need to do all this again for the other 3. But I'm not doing those right now. I can't bother to think about it. So, let's go back to my test. Alright, my train's turned green because I have automatic train painter on. Let's also toggle the exoskeleton off. Right. So, hopefully the timer is on the screen. It is. So I'm going to jump in here and start the timer. And let's see how long it takes. So my plan is to, as I said, use this as my sort of pulse of every X number of seconds the trains are going to move. And I'm probably going to set it up to stagger the 4 batches for the 4 types of sciences I'm going to be grouping up. Yeah. Moving. This thing isn't even get to full speed by the time it gets there. Start slowing down. This will be interesting to see. 50 seconds. Now, oh, we're pretty much there. So it takes back on a minute, basically. Cool. I'm going to get out and run back. Right, so it takes a minute to move. That's actually slightly annoying. I was hoping the numbers would be a little bit nicer than that. Oh well. Right, let's get rid of the timer. I'll come back to... In theory, you should now see my Excel spreadsheet. Oh no, you can probably still see this. Okay. Back to the Excel. Right. So, movement time. We do this in seconds. 60 seconds. Right. So, if we assume... I'm tempted to double that, to be honest. Yeah. So, the reason I'm going to double it is to allow a bit of a buffer. As I said, I don't know exactly how I'm going to do the returning system. So the looping system, because I only want to do one train, because as soon as I add another set, it becomes a big deal. Because, as I said before, 8,000 trains, which is what I'm going to have on the map, it seems to somewhat take that. As soon as I went over like the 12,000, which is what would happen if I tried to add in a third train, it started to get really edgy and didn't really like it. So, yeah, I'm going to try to avoid that. So I'm going to assume that it's double that, which should give it more than double the travel distance when I'm trying to do kind of the loop back. So, fudge time. What was that? Seconds. Which equals that plus that. So, to make it easy, I'm going to allow it to stop for a full 60 seconds. Let's change my maths formula. So we have a 180-second pulse of this system. Yeah. So that means that to get 5,000 a minute, that basically means I need. Actually, let's do this a little bit differently. So I am making 5,000 divided by 60. Is that right? Yeah. So that means I need to pay 83 and a bit science a second. So it means that science a second. For the 180 seconds, I need to make 15,000 science. Yeah. So that gives me my next starting point. Let's lose that a second. What am I thinking? Right. I'm building you. Right, and I'm building you. Because I need to now work out how much material I can use. And that was a little bit stupid of me. I should have done that. Because I need to put in all the stuff first, don't I? Right. 2, 3. So I'm going to do these as separate sets of beacons so I can adjust each one to kind of balance it out nicely. Because I'll take little screenshots of all of these and store them somewhere. There we go. Right. Cool. So let's start off with the first science, red. So, out of one of these, I can make 11,700 a minute. Right. So that needs to be 7,500 because I'm going to need 2 of them. So let's take away some of these. 9,900, 9,100, 7,740. Right, that was the last one. So I then need 10,000 iron gear. Let's put this back on the screen. So, red. I need what? Plate, gears, copper, and iron as a sub of this. So, I need a third of this. Let me just quickly put that in. That divided by 3 times 2. I need 10,000 each of... No. What's that divided by 3 times 2? This iron is, of course, gears are, of course, 2 iron, so I need 20,000 iron and 10,000 copper in that section of the train. So then I've got green, which is inserters and conveyors, which is greens, gears, which is wire, copper, iron. Right. So let's put that there again. This should be a very similar set of numbers. I should need 10,000. Ooh. I know these are slightly slower, aren't they? Hang on. Reds. Oh, hold on. I haven't done that right. Gears. Because, of course, I get production advantage. So, 117 divided by 10,000. 11.7. So what's the inverse of 11.7? In theory, it's 0.08547. Gives me approximately 10,000. Good. Right. So I only actually need a third more of them. So, divide that by 3, times that by 4. That's the amount of iron I need for gears. Problem solved. We'll leave that one there for now. Greens. So I already worked out I needed, what, another 4 of them maybe? 7,600. Yeah. Okay. I need 2 of those. So again, same deal. I need a third of the number. So divide by 3 times 2. Divide by 3 times 2. Inserters and conveyors can't use productivity modules, so I know it's a direct ratio for those. And they're 1 of each for inserters. So I need 10,000 of those. I need 10,000 of those. And I need 10,000 of them. Right, conveyors are again a 1 and a 1. So plus 1 for them. Plus 1 for them. So now we're up to 20,000 iron. Right, greens can have productivity modules. So how many do I need? 10,000. I just did that, didn't I? What was it? 0.08. There we go. 8547. So for the gears, I need twice as much iron, twice as much copper wire. That's a nice easy one. And then I need plus greens divided by 3 times 2 because it's a third. That. The copper. Copper wire. 10,000. No, 20,000. Divided by 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. So that's actually. What's up with these numbers? I missed out a 0 there. So that takes. What's that? Divided by 6 times 2. Yep. Because that's... Oh, actually, I can do that this simpler. Divided by 3 times... I just need to divide it by 3, don't I? Yeah, because that's exactly 1/3. Cool. Right. Then, of course, I've got gears, which I've already done. 0.08547. So I need to add in a similar number. So that divided by 3 times 4. So that is therefore the amount of copper and iron I need for reds, for greens. Right. Let me delete some of these columns so that things move over. Then we have blues, which of course is still 15,000 a minute. Blue. I suspect I'm going to need all of these in there. And even then I'm going to need slightly more than that. Right. So it's 3.0769. There we go, 15,000. Right. So, sulfur. Engines, reds. So I need 5,000 sulfur. A third of it is sulfur. Half, well, 2/3 is engines, and I need an even number of reds. Lovely. So, let's work my way down the list again. Sulfur is petroleum, I'm not worrying about that right now. Reds is is made of greens, which is made of wires. Actually, I'll come back to that. Engines are made of steel. No, actually I can do it outside there, can't I? Wire. Greens are made of that. Engines are made of steel. Gears. Pipes. Yep. Which leaves me with copper, plastic, and iron. Didn't actually check if this was on the screen. Cool. Hopefully it's visible enough. Okay. So. Let's work my way down this then. So reds are again intermediate, so they can be affected by productivity modules. Where's my calculator gone? So I need 15,000, and it can make 95700 a minute, which is 1.5384. 6. There we go. 15,000. So that needs third extra greens. Divided by 3 times 4. A lot extra of wire. Double that again. So what's that? Divided by 3 times 8. Yep. And plastic is divided by 3 times 4 to make 20,000. Right. The greens we've already worked out is double on the wire. So if I put brackets around there, plus that times 2. So we need 80,000 wire a minute. And we've already got that, which is a third. So that's that much copper a minute. These numbers are kind of scary. Right. Engines are again intermediates. These can be affected. I need 10,000 a minute, which is 850. So I need 1.7094. There we go. So, equals a third of everything, basically. 2/3, sorry. Times 2. Cool. Equals that divided by 3 times 2. Right. Nice and easy one. Pipes can't be affected by thingies because they're not an intermediary productivity modules, so they're a straight number. So I just need that, basically. Gears I already have the numbers for, which was up a third, wasn't it? Gears divided by 3 times 4. Steel is... I'll work that one out in a second. And then we got greens, which was what? Purple. Divided by 3 times 2. Divided by 3 times 2. Then the last one I need is one of you. Steel, productivity. I can actually fully surround this one. I am actually going to just grab this blueprint out. There we go. Speed, 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 speed. Right. I need 6,000, so slightly less than one of those. Why are you just saying welcome to the chat room? Whatever. Right. 0.69. Right. That requires 20,000 iron, which is what? I can't be able to do the maths of that in my head. Nope, not 2.5. 3. No, that just equals that. God, how is this working? Hang on. It's going to be a horrible number, isn't it? Yeah, it's 0.32. Let's go with that then. Plus steel. No, hang on. I did that the wrong way around. Oh yeah, 3.12. That is a horrible number. And it's because it's going up 50% and then dropping by... yeah, whatever. Right. There we go. Right. The next thing I need to work out is iron. Actually, let's do this different. Stack size. 150, 100, 200. So, I'm working out how much goes into each carriage. So, there's 80 slots in each carriage, so it's that times that times that. So, the reason I'm doing that is because I'm trying to work out how many carriages I need for, like, raw materials, and therefore we can work our way back to how much space there is in these 200 carriages in this one buffer. So, iron, copper, plastic, sulfur. That one plus that one plus that one equals that one plus that one plus that one equals what am I thinking? Oh, plastic. And that one's easy as well. Cool. So iron stacks to 100. So does copper. Plastic stacks to what? How much plastic is in a train? Where's my other plastic train? It's going to unload. 8,000. So that's 100 as well. And sulfur is 50. It's 4,000. Right. So I then need to round all these up because I kind of wish I'd done this from the start. Hang on. Cheating. Okay, right. That's actually not very many carriages. That's significantly less than I was expecting. 26 carriages. That's it? I might be able to slow this process down a bit. Okay. Let's carry on for now. So that says I absolutely have enough space. Hang on, if I like change this around a bit. Times 2. Because thankfully I did all this as maths, so let's go 180 seconds on that. So yeah, we're not really going up by much. Although we're trying to make 30,000 science in a single pulse. We've only got 36 cars worth of material. It's actually not very much. Let's go with that for now. Got plenty of time in it to make this work. So, well, now I'm trying to make 20,000 in an instant. So, whatever. Why are you at 15,000? That would probably help if I actually did that properly. Right. So if I did that as 180 again, 50 carriages. So with a quarter of its raw material. Let's leave it at 60, 60, 60 for now and come back to it. Right. So. Right. The top line I don't need to worry about because they're not being loaded back into the train. But insert column. Number of cars. Round up. That divided by that to 0. So I need 2 cars worth of iron gears. Actually, these numbers aren't as scary as I was expecting. Copper's in that. And that means... So I might just put these things as thingy symbols. To stop it moving so much. So I only need 2 cars for each of them. Wow. Okay. Let's insert another row. Column, sorry. Oh yeah. What do these stack to? 50, don't they? So you can get 4,000. Conveyors still stacked to 100, so that's fine. Green stacked to 200. So that's nice and easy. Gears stack to 100. They stack to 200. And both of these stack to 100. That's 19 cars. Yep. So insert sulfur's on 50, so we copy and paste that bit. Engines are also at 50. Reds are at 200. So we only actually need 1 batch of them. Wow. I really don't feel like this is actually going to take that long to make these. Oh well. I mean, let's face it, the whole reason I'm doing this is to do the maths of it, so here we go. Greens are 200 again. So is wire. Steel is 100, which is that one. So our gears, so are pipes, question mark? Yep. So is copper, so is plastic, so is iron. There we go. 30 cars. So that's 55 cars, giving me 200 minus that. 145 cars spare. Right. Let's start playing with numbers. Until I hit something that actually sounds fun. Okay. That's a little bit easier. Cars used. Cars left. So the goal is to get that down to 0. So, increasing the time it takes to move. Decreases the number of cars. Sorry, the manufacturing time decreases because I guess it has to make less in a 1 batch. So, where did that do that? No, hang on. Yeah, because the pulse size goes up, so yeah. I went the wrong way there. Ignore me. 300. 420. Ooh, there we go. We finally hit -5. So that is too many. Yeah. Right. Let's go 450. 1 car left. I think that's close enough. Go away, Microsoft. Right. So I guess that is my plan. We have a 750-second time from where a train starts to it moves to a new spot and stops. I'm actually going to even this out, actually. No. So we'll be making in batches of 62,500 science. Nice. Of each type as well. Oh my god. Is that a curiosity? So I've got 1,000 divided by 3 times 200 times 80 times 200 because the science all stacks to that, and then I've got 3 of them on board. So I can get so hang on, let's take out that 200. No, actually, let's leave that 200 in. Sorry, I'm not thinking straight. So equals that divided by... So it's going to take 85 loops to fill a train of science. How long is that going to take? How do you turn seconds into minutes? And how do you turn seconds into minutes? Excel, convert seconds to hours and minutes into that formula. And then I guess you turn the format to time. 17 hours and 42 minutes. Nice. Oh, wow. Yeah. That's a bit nuts. 17 hours to just fill a science train. Yeah. I knew these numbers were going to get nuts, but... Oh, wow, they're getting nuts. Oh, it looks so cute, like it's like sat like that. Actually, that's something I'm going to do quick. Let's get rid of all the nuclear fuel that's stocked up in the train. Cool. Let's get rid of all the nuclear fuel that's stocked up in the train. Yeah. Sorry, I was just looking about how I actually handled the nuclear fuel being stowed away there. 155 in storage. That's fine. Because let's face it, each of these trains is what? 30 cars, and each one takes 4, so it's 120, so there's only one car. One train build, and it's completely gone. Right. Let's get rid of the XL thing for now. Don't need that. Let's also get rid of my train creation. Let's just run along it all the way and then run back with the robots running. The robots in this game really make some funky designs when they come in and out. Oh, there's one all the way over there. Poor thing. I'll pick it up in a minute. I always love the patterns they make. I don't know why. They just do. I love the way they can pick up stuff I can't even see. I mean, there's still robots in my inventory, so I just keep running until... Oh, yeah, they won't... No, maybe they did pick it up. Did they? I'm just going to use force chart. No. Oh well, it was worth a try. Apparently I ran too quickly and it dropped out of area before it could pick them up. I'm going to rename this thing. Oh well, whatever. Come on, trains. Oh, that's the enemy track. Cool. So. There we go. So. My goal then is 173. Yeah, 2 points something. Yeah, 173.6. Yeah, close enough. Science a second. And that would then make my 62,500 science in a 360-second period. Cool. Okay. Right. Yeah. Sorry, I'm running around as I'm thinking, just to do something as I'm thinking. Well, thinking is probably a strong word. I'm not really thinking anything, that's the problem. Yeah. So there is the plan, I think. Yeah. Yeah. There is our plan. At least for the first type of science, and I'm not doing the other ones now. It'll take probably a couple of decent sessions to actually build this. I guess my other point then is, what is my output of materials per second? I guess that's the last thing I can do. So I've got iron, copper, plastic, sulfur. So totals. I've already done this once, but I need to do it again because I deleted them. Actually, I'm going to do this differently. I am going to use the car numbers because I may as well just fill the cars up. Copper. Plastic is that one. You can quite see it on the screen. And sulfur is that one. Okay. So equals that times 50. Equals that times 100. That times 100. Why does that not feel right? Why does something not feel right there? Yeah, I'm not taking into account this. Yeah, right. Only times all these by 80 because there's 80. exercises in a train. Right. So, that means in a 750-second period, I need 488,000 iron. So, that's divided by 750 a second makes... No, yeah, so I'm loading up every 750 seconds. I'm loading up 480,000. There's only 605 a second then. Why does that not feel right? Oh, no, actually, fair enough. Right. Materials a minute, it's 40,000 iron a minute. I can believe that, actually. I should have put the dollary signs either side of that before I did that. Right, there we go. Let's bring you up to like the nearest 100. Yeah. -2. There we go. Right, there we go. That's some nicer numbers. So I need 42,000 iron per minute, which is relatively easy to get. It's only, what, 2 of these? Yep, slightly more. Yeah, you could get it out 2 of those because there's quite a lot of efficiency modules on those. Yeah. In fact, if memory serves, these are fully done. So yeah, there's like not very many. Yeah. So it's just over 1 of these. So maybe with some faffing, I could probably get it out of 1. No, these are fully beat. Yeah, I'd make out 2 then. Fine, it'll be 2. Only need like half of 1 of these to get the copper. Plastic. Guess I should work out how much petroleum I need. Petrol. So that is making 48,000. I don't know what it's actually making because it won't be making that amount. Hold on. Plastic. Oh, it's actually pretty close. You can see where it stops and starts it, though. Let's see if it can run for a full minute. Not quite. To be fair, though, that's close enough. It's about there, isn't it? So let's call it 45. 45,000. So why am I doing like this? 10,000 divided by 4,600.25. Right. So the petrol is done for every 10,000. So equals that divided by 10,000 is times 66,666 petrol. Because that number makes sense. And we need to do the same for sulfur. I'm going to do this divided by 1,000 times 10,000. mining 13,000 petrol per second. I don't know why I always end up doing liquids in seconds and materials in minutes. It's a bit random. I think it's just the numbers don't scare me quite so much. So what's this system outputting? Oh, that's scary. Wait, how is that possible? Yeah, it is actually... Oh, God. Oh, my word. Considering this thing is almost fully beaconed. I think this... No, not quite. Neither of these are. Oh, God. I literally need 2 of these to run the plastic. Oh, my God. That's a scary thought. Oh, no. Right. Oh. Yeah, this is going to get big. That I wasn't expecting. Right. I guess the other thing I need to work out is where the hell I'm going to sit all of this. Yeah, that's my next question. So I'm thinking I'm going to keep the science itself in here. So therefore all the science trains want to be on the inside and all the production trains want to be on the outside. And eventually they'll each take a corner of the map. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the big trains will come into the centre somehow. I haven't decided how yet. I might try and make a cool swirly-doo thing with all the science in the middle or something like that. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Otherwise, because I don't want these train tracks to cross. These things are so big that you could completely cripple your production schedule just by having 2 of the trains cross. Yeah, not worth it. Just not worth it. Flat out. Yeah. So I guess I need to pick a corner. As you can see, I kind of gave up picking up the whistle stop factories. I did like all of this, and of course all of this, but just can't be bothered. Somewhere, memory says I put them somewhere safe, didn't I? Where did I put them? I thought I made a chest for them there. There we go. I have one too many furnaces. Let's actually dismantle all this as well, because I don't really need chewing through all that power. Yep. Yeah, I'm not starting this tonight, I'm too tired. But yeah, that's the plan. I guess I'll just pick this corner. Solid. Work my way around the corners. How do you have to tag again? Oh, that's useless. Okay, let's not bother with that. I was thinking I could add a tag in, but they're too small to actually see. Okay. Yep. So there is the plan. We'll have to do something similar for all the other sciences, and those ones are going to be a much more complicated stacking setup. So, yeah. But I'll try and keep everything, I guess, on... No, just pulse them whatever they pulse at. I guess I'll design the pulse generator quickly. So, Factorio, ticks per second. How many ticks in 30 seconds? Factorio. Ticks. The base unit of all time while running at the game speed 60 ticks in every wheel. real time second. Okay. So it is 1 tick every 60 seconds. So to make a pulse generator, just turn off the exoskeletons, move around a little bit more sensibly. I need one of you, and a constant D. I believe I do. Click, click, click. When 0 is I think this works. Right. So I've got 730 seconds, was it? 50 seconds times 60. It's 45,000, whatever it is. 0 is larger than 45,000. It resets. In theory, that should now bounce up to 45,000, which is however many minutes that is. And then it resets itself. So, yeah. Basically, when you are less than, say, 50, let's do 60 ticks, so it's 1 second. I'll put 1 on go. Yeah, it's going to take a while. Let's change you to like 1,000 for now, just as a tester. In theory, when this gets back round to 1,000, it should give me a short pulse. It should be enough to send the train moving. Yeah, there it goes. Cool. That's actually going to be set to 45,000. Right. And that. So, the train, every single stop is going to run on circuit condition when G is not equal, when G is larger than 0. And then every single station, that'll be set. And then every single time it does it, it just pulses that through. Perfect. And then that creates my pulse tick. And then every time it simply stops, does whatever it needs to do, and moves on. In that configuration I showed earlier of 5 stops, each with their own section. Yeah. And I guess I need to work out, am I doing oil or am I doing coal-fired? I guess that's something else I can do quickly, isn't it? Paste. Exoskeleton back on. Wait for the server to save. Advanced oil. Right. 2, 3. Right. Yep. So that is doing 6,824, and that is fully beaconed. Look how much power that's consuming. Yeah, it's not too bad. So I needed 1377.8 divided by 68429. So I need 2.013 of those. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Which requires 15,000 oil derricks a second. So if I... Did I actually have oil derricks being produced? Actually, second thought. No, actually that isn't correct, because I haven't cracked anything. Yeah. Right. 1, 2. Cracking. Just leave that as 1 for now then. Always do this. Right, let's start working how much I need to crack. That's far too much. Right. That's as close as that's going to get. It's a little bit over, but that's fine. So then I need to crack 9,000 of that. That's only 7,000. That's a bit scary. Okay, that just about manages to crack it all. So that's 16,000. Okay, so it's only one setup, including cracking, of doing normal oil. Whereas I've already seen it's going to be multiples doing this. And how much oil does that actually require? 7,700 and... a second. Right. Have I made oil derricks, or have I not made oil derricks in this? I should have some. Because I demolished some somewhere else. Where are they? Let's just grab you. I probably didn't make them. Steel, gears, greens, thingies. Steel, greens, gears, pipes. Yeah. Very flip-floppy. Right. Now let me grab a stack of them. Apparently somewhere in the I don't want stuff file. I think it's 20 in the stack. Oh. Do I really not have any? I'm sure I had pump jacks down here. Oh, I better know where they are. They're in there. There we go. Alright. There's the answer to that. So, I'm going to go see how much I can get out of, let's say, this oil field. Oh god, lag. I did not like doing that. Let's let the UPS recover before I go much further, and I haven't got enough. Something tells me this is the... I actually need to delete that, otherwise it's going to keep messing up. Okay. The robots just go all the way over there looking for me, and then, oh, whatever. Okay. So. I'm going to put beacons in each of these. Okay, you've suddenly gone weird. Okay, let's back again. That's weird. They've all got productivity in them. How much does that give? 599, which is not exactly a lot. Let me bunkle these down. Definitely don't want that on blacklist. I want that on whitelist. Buy trees. Let's see how many of these I can fit. I just like do this. Yeah, you always end up playing this game with these. The other reason I hate Oiderics is you can't get them in a nice, neat formation. Apparently I'm out of stuff. Already reloaded. Good. Problem solved. I need power to all these because the calculator doesn't work without them. Let's actually start at the other end and be sensible about this, so I can actually tell what the hell's going on, rather than just making random guesses. My game with the power poles is so much easier with these things. Oh, there we go. Oh, I'm missing a couple. There we go. That's 3,600 a minute. So, properly beaconed and actually having enough speed modules. One sec. Oh dear. Yeah. So, 2 of those would power one of these. So the question is, do I do it like that, or do I do it via coal? But noting that I need 2 sets of coal, which means I need another, and I need nuclear setup for that. Well, I don't need nuclear setup for that. I can do other methods. Decisions. There are 2 relatively close batches of oil, though. And there's coal there as well. It's actually kind of tempting, you know. To do plastic and sulfur in here. Because there's plenty of iron and things around. I mean, there's technically 2 next to each other, so actually running a train up here, putting a stop middle way there, running it all the way up, and having these load on the second tier might actually work. Kind of tempted by that. The trains go in the middle somewhere. Just happens that's a really good spot for doing it. I mean, the other way is if there's just one of these near coal. There aren't really, are there? I think that answers my question. Technically, there's another batch there. And technically, I could load all the raw materials straight on at one spot, so I could just load all them here and then just process afterwards. Decisions. Which way do I want to go? Yeah. I think that's probably not a bad move, though, is all that along here. Because if I look at my... thing again. I'm not making... Sorry. Making motors until there, so technically if I did that, I don't need gears there either. Let's actually get myself some couple more pictures. Since I forgot these. Oh, what are they called? They're not called belts, are they? They're called transport belts. Blow that up. Come on. There we go. We don't even need steel there, do we? Steel technically is there. Yeah. So you could load them in at the first stop, load these in at the second stop, do the processing for the wire there, then make the next batch, and then the signs. Yeah. I think that is going to be my plan. Because how far out did this actually go? A long way. Yeah. Hang on. I can use my fingers on the screen now. It's about that distance. So that puts the train starting about there and then finishing up here for the second batch. Okay. And then starting here again. Yeah, just me size now. That was that, wasn't it? So let's add in that tag actually. About there. Add in another tag, so it's 1090 degrees, so then the next processing batch is across like that. So that could be 4 processing batches. So if I then went south for the 5th one, that would be up about there. Okay. And then somewhere I've got to get back. So I think because of that, I'm going to end up with... Oh, does that ever work? Because of that fudge factor time, actually, I don't need to run. I could technically speed up that pulse. So the overall makes... So like as you go round here, these are faster, and then it gives plenty of time for it to get back to start again. Does that work? Because I have a lot of time. That may actually work. Then I don't need to redo another set, because regardless which one I do, I need to find a second set of resources. And that's a really good spot for all these, because that's all I need. Well, that and water. Water's going to be the fun one. How much water did this setup require? How many sulfur was I making a minute? 6,000. Yeah. Let's demolish all this. We don't need any more. And then let's go look up how much water I need. Oh, robots, do your job. Yep. Right. And I need one of you. That. You're making sulfur. You need productivity modules. Probably a lot of speed modules. How many of these am I making a minute? That's too many. I need 18,000 a minute. I don't need 6,000 a minute. Oh god. Okay, I do need some. 9,000. Fine. That's apparently all I need. Do we even need 2? Just about. So, how much water does this require? 17,000 per minute. So, I still need 2 lines of water in. Oh god. That's going to be the scary bit. How the hell am I going to do 17,000 litres of water a minute? Hang on. Wait, where's that changed? Oh yeah, because I need water for that. If I do 10-car train of 75,000. Yeah. So that gives. So with the black wagons, that's 750,000 water, which is 17,690, which will last 42 and a bit seconds. Okay, that's doable. That's definitely doable. You can definitely unload a train, especially a fluid one, move it out and get another one in like a big loop. Like something like that, just like looping backwards and forwards. Yeah. The plan has come together, I think. Water train. Water train. Up to there. That gives me all my water I need. Yeah. I think that's going to work. The other thing I need to do is get nuclear fuel out all the way over there. Well, that's going to be interesting. Yeah. I'll probably have nuclear fuel at probably 2 of these stops. Because that should be more than enough to keep it fueled. And that should therefore get all the carriages, because of course, effectively all of them are at the start of a set of 200. Exception of the last ones, which are at the back. So that would get, between the 2 of them, that would get all of the trains. Yeah. The hardest thing is going to be how the hell do I distribute all this along the train? How do I actually pick where to put all this stuff? I'm tempted just to literally go along the train one at a time. Just load up 7 lots of iron, 6 lots of copper, then convert all 7 lots of iron into 6 lots of gears. Yeah, I'm tempted to do that, you know. Just go along the train. Yeah. I think we got the plan. Cool. Alright, I'm going to bed now. Cool. Alright, there's a lot of maths and a lot of planning today, but necessary to be done. Let's demolish all these so they don't chew up power. Not that I really care, because I've got like 30 gigawatts of power. And I'm using what? the last 50 hours, I haven't exceeded 3 gigawatts. And I can guarantee you that number is going to be recharging the accumulators. Oh god, I may have gone a bit over the top on power for this. It's fine. It's all fine. Yeah, it gets to 15 gig of as it charges the accumulators, and then the accumulators fill up. That's how little power I'm using each night. Lovely. Perfect. Right. Plan in place. We'll carry on next time and actually start trying to build stuff. And I guess I need to start by riding that train out here and building a piece of track. God. That's going to be fun. Not. Yep. Have a good one, everyone. Bye. See you, bye.